Oh, hey everybody! This is
What's
a
up?
post-game show where we're here to vent about how terrible we played. Manny, if you're gonna come on the show, you got to take off that shirt. I'm not doing it tonight with you. All right,
Hey, misery loves company, my brother. What you mean?
not doing it.
We could both be sat together.
The state of Florida went over today. Give it up for the state of Florida. Over today.
Florida State, Miami,
for five.
FIU, USF. 5. 0 for 5 today.
Nice, man. Nice. As we all know, the Canes dropped a big one to Clemson, 42-17. Thought it was a little bush league there. What Dabble did there at the end, trying to score again. But listen, whatever, man. I mean, we all knew that's typical of Dabble. He hates the University of Miami, and if I was the University of Miami, I'd do the same thing because I don't care. So tough one to talk about here. But at the same time, not surprised. I will be, I will be honest. I'm a little. The Canes didn't quit, okay, and that's a start. They fought to the very end. It felt like it was. Someone pointed this out earlier. It was De'Aaron King and Bubba Bolden against the world. That's what it seemed like. It seemed like we were playing.
That was Kaya that tweeted that too.
Yeah. Oh, was it Kaya?
Yeah.
So it was, it's tough to play like that when you're just completely overmatched at every single position aside from the kicker position. I think that, is the gap closer? I don't know. Maybe in certain areas it is. Maybe in certain areas it's not. Look, in the areas that it matters, the offensive line, wide receivers are non-existent. Linebacker play was a lot worse than I originally thought. McLeod got beaten a lot. A lot of plays. Sam Brooks showed some couple things, right? Some plays that he played well. Corey Couch looked half decent. Honestly speaking, I don't think the defense was terrible. I think we put the offense put them in some positions that they had to. They didn't have to cover the whole field, but the length of the field. But at the same time, that's Clemson. They're not going to lose a single game this year. I don't know if anybody's going to give them a run for their money at all. I heard Kirk Herbstreit talking about Notre Dame and maybe at Florida State, which was kind of ridiculous to me. But whatever, it is what it is. Again, we dropped this game to the number one team in the country. I thought that our offense was going to look a little bit better than it did. Honestly, I was disappointed with that. I just felt like they were just. I don't think they ran the ball enough. I don't think they gave Cam Harris an opportunity. Cam Harris an opportunity to get it going initially, and maybe that's that. Listen, give credit to Clemson's defense. I don't think they let him get going either. Right, Tyler Davis, what an absolute monster that guy is. I've always said that the linebacker Skowski is an absolute beast as well. KJ Henry is another kid. I remember seeing him. I believe it was in the Under Armour game a few years back. Who is an absolute monster. Their secondary is a lot better
Booth
than
was pretty good too.
Who's that?
Booth, I think Andrew Booth. That's his name.
Yeah, Booth played well. I mean, listen, that's a lot of people mentioned it on Twitter, man. Listen, that's a decade almost now of recruiting top tier guys, right? They're backups to the backups. They're third string guys. Third string linebacker picked off N'Kosi Perry today there at the end. So. Listen, at the end of the day, am I surprised that UM lost? No. Did I want to see a little bit more out of the offense? Yes. You can see Derek King is absolutely explosive with his legs. He had a hard time throwing the ball, but I think that's because and we spoke about this, Danny, Paul, we spoke about this. Wide receivers did not get any separation. Okay, and that was going to be huge, right? And we kind of nailed that on the head. Wide receivers got no separation from the cornerbacks and couldn't make some big plays. D. Wiggins dropped a couple balls. It was just, and then Brevin Jordan goes down with an injury again. Which here we go again with Brevin Jordan, right? I mean, that's just been the story of his career here at the University of Miami. He shows brilliance, and then all of a sudden he went down. So I'm ranting a little bit, but the bright spots. 3 block field goals. Bubba Bolden's still playing lights out. He's an absolute day one guy, if you ask me. He might be getting into a day one guy at safety. He's probably a day 2 guy right now, but that's a kid that can play in the NFL hands down right away. 2 blocked field goals out of the 3. So I think it's important to note that. But aside from that, man, it was tough. It was tough.
No, for sure. If you would have told me that Miami would tie the FBS record for most blocked field goals in the game, and I found out they lost by 25, well, I would have thought they'd be winning by 25, but no. So they blocked 3 field goals. Like blocking 1 is already hard as hell enough. Let alone
I took
3.
one back. I took one back.
And I'm not sure if you guys watched The Office, but there's a scene where Michael Scott talks about, if he had 2 bullets, he would shoot his HR guy. Or no, if he had 2 bullets and he was in a room with his HR guy, Toby, Bin Laden, and Hitler, he'd shoot his HR guy twice. Well, I feel like Miami had 3 bullets to shoot against Clemson, and they end up finding like 2 extra bullets and shooting themselves 5 times. Yeah, that's how I felt. 15 penalties for 15 penalties, 135 yards. That's now tough. Two of those penalties in the first quarter could have ended Clemson's drives, but they end up turning them into. Well, one of them turned into that first touchdown. I think Miami did end up getting a stop on the second one, but Miami, the discipline has to be a lot better. I think even the pre-snap penalties were bad. Ja'Kai Clark was off. I think he got beat plenty of times, and he had a couple of false starts as well. And like you mentioned, Jazz, just the receiving corps was just not helping King at all. I mean, I'm also gonna give Clemson credit because they were clamping all of the receivers. They were not giving them any space. Like King had to make the best throws. Even in retrospect, that one interception he threw, I think he was trying to find Will Mallory. That could have been thrown a little bit better, but honestly, that wasn't that bad. That wasn't that bad of a ball. I mean, it was a little underthrown, but honestly, that was kind of hitting Mallory in stride. But that was also just a great pick. Honestly, I couldn't even be mad at that.
Great pick, but you got to throw the ball up a little bit there. He had some separation on that play, and you got to lead him a little bit better. So that I'll still put that on King, but nobody. Again, Brevin Jordan was your leading receiver with three receptions for 31 yards. I think Keyshawn Smith had that one on that trick play, 1 for 42. And again, the punt return was non-existent. There was no punt. Restrepo got lucky on that one touchback.
Got bailed out. I think it was twice. Even the first time he tried to return, he tried to pick it up. And luckily, nothing bad happened. But the second time, I guess I didn't really understand the rules now. But yeah, he got bailed out on that one too because of the touchback rule. But Pope, no catches. Wiggins, 1 catch, 24 yards. Harley with 3 catches for 17 yards. It just, man, really, you got to give credit to De'Aaron King. I mean, those scrambles that he had. I don't know that last touchdown. I don't know how. I know he had 2 Clemson defenders in front of him, and he somehow got through them and got in the end zone. I was just like, whoa, this guy still plays the chip on his shoulder. He cares. But yeah, it's like you mentioned, Jazz. Also, because Clemson's been recruiting at a high level. They kind of become the new Alabama, where basically, if they could tell a recruit like, okay, we want you, but if you're unsure, then we're gonna pass on you with the next guy because we know guys want to play for us. And you've seen it with I think I was watching even in the fourth quarter when Clemson had their the third stringers or the backups in the game. They had Miles Murphy. They pulled up his name, and also Brian Breesy was also playing in the game as well. Those guys were. Murphy was the number 1 defensive end in the country last year coming out of high school, and Breesy was the number 1 defensive tackle coming out of high school. Right. Breesy's freaking huge. Breesy's 6'5", 280. That man is massive. And it goes to show you it's Miami's, like I mentioned before, Miami's still probably 2 or 3 years away from at least what I would call what I could comfortably call a contender. But until they build that depth and they kind of fill out the roster, they're still kind of far away. Although, I mean, right now the focus is to just at least work on those penalties. I mean, it's kind of weird because in the UAB game, they were damn near spotless. But since then, it really hasn't been that pleasant.
Yeah, and, the penalties have really killed us. It's been bad. I mean, you mentioned it, 15 for 135, 135 yards and penalties, more than total passing yards. Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the stat line: total yards 210 for Miami, 550 for Clemson, 121 passing, 89 rushing for Miami, 292 and 258. Such a balanced attack. They had 8 for 85, but listen, those penalties didn't cost them. And that first possession really hurt us. I think we had an opportunity to stop them there, and maybe football's about momentum, man. It's so much about momentum, and if you stop them there on fourth down, you've got great field position. Danny, I mean, I don't want to say that it's because of the penalties that really got us down in this game, but I don't think it helped at all. I think that those penalties really hurt us on certain key drives that maybe we could have put some points on the board, and of course on defense with some boneheaded plays. Listen, that targeting call on Keontre Smith, I think was a bunch of crap. Okay, I mean, listen,
I do as well, yeah.
let the guys play some damn football, for crying out loud. There was another one that they showed a picture that it was this kid Landon Sanders who drilled De'Aaron King, led headfirst with the crown. Nothing. Okay, so I mean, Danny, talk to me about those penalties. Was that the reason why Miami lost this game?
I think Miami lost this game for a couple of reasons. First, the middle of the field on defense was wide open for Trevor Lawrence. He had all day to throw in the middle of the field, and he could basically make whatever throw he wanted, and he could get like 10 yards from the middle of the field. Secondly, I think Miami, I believe it was Bubba Bolden, recovered a fumble coming out of half or shortly coming out of half. There was a turnover, and then King threw an interception, and at that point the game was 21-10. Had Miami been able to get a touchdown there, it would have been 21-17, and that would have maybe changed momentum. And that really stuck out to me because you say it's a 21-17 game. Now we're in business. Now the defense is hyped up. Now the game is within reach. Instead, King throws the pick, and Clemson goes and runs the ball down our throats and does all the Clemson things that they do. But I think it was a combination of, the wide receivers couldn't get separation. And yes, I understand that Clemson is good, but we've been saying the wide receivers can't get separation for weeks now. We've been saying for weeks that they're having trouble getting separation, and we keep waiting for them to, help out the passing attack.
Right.
I don't see anything really improving that much. We're in week, 5, 4? I've lost track of time.
5.
And
5.
Yeah,
5. And this still, Brevin Jordan's our leading receiver. We're still waiting for the wide receivers to make an impact. And I don't really know if anything is going to change. I think, honestly, what we see, even though Clemson has a good defense, is what we're going to get with the wide receivers.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to change much. Honestly, I'm at a point now, and look, I've been saying this since last season. So disappointed with Mark Pope and his play on the field. I mean, this was a kid that came in, and was supposed to be all world and get that separation and find holes in the defense and make some catches and use his quickness to get up the field. And we're just not seeing that at all.
Nope.
Nothing at all from him. Mike Harley is pretty much non-existent, not a factor in any single game. D. Wiggins has big playability, but he's also dropping passes. At what point? And I know that we're all couch potato coaches.
Yeah.
I get it, but like at what point do you start putting Michael Redding out on the field a little more? I know Jeremiah Payton's probably still trying to get his win back from, testing positive for coronavirus. But at what point do you put those guys in more? Keyshawn Smith, at what point does Xavier Restrepo get some more playing time? Because honestly speaking, the wide receivers right now are not really making any difference on the outcome of a football game, right? I think right now you can plug and play any wide receiver on this football team, and you're going to get the same outcome, if not better performance. So why not give these guys an opportunity to say, go ahead, get out there and make some plays? Because our running backs are great, and obviously they struggled today a little bit, but it's expected. It's Clemson again. Nobody's going to beat them. I don't think Alabama can beat Clemson. Honestly speaking, I think that is that is an absolutely phenomenal team. They may have a little bit of deficiencies at the wide receiver position. We noticed that today. Frankie Ladson made a nice play, but aside from that, who do they really have at wide receiver with some of the older guys that they have there, Powell and a couple other guys.
Rogers.
Well, yeah, Amari Rogers, but I see Amari Rogers as kind of like this hybrid guy. He's a scat back style that can be in the slot, that can run the jet sweeps. So I'm talking about guys on the outside per se. I just don't. They don't have much more than Frankie Ladson, but they don't need much more, right? I mean,
I think they need it.
They don't need much more, especially with what Trevor Lawrence does with his legs as well. So I think at some point Miami needs to get there too, and I think that it's going to start with recruiting those 5-star big time wide receivers. We haven't seen that from Miami since what? Amon Richards was probably the last one that we got that was of that talent, of that caliber, and obviously
he's big bodied like that. Because Pope was highly recruited, but he's kind of still on the skinnier side even to this day.
Exactly. And you remember T. Higgins and Justin Ross, big wide receivers, 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", can go up and get it, but can also run, right?
Fast, they're very fast.
Very fast. So Frankie Ladson is in that mode. He's 6'3", 6'4", right? He's a big dude. Yeah. We don't have guys like that. Who's our guy that's tall? D. Wiggins, 6'3". Who else? I mean, I like Michael
freshman.
Yeah,
freshman at this point.
Which one? Michael Redding and
Redding and Keyshawn Smith. I feel like those guys need to play, or at least, I mean, I'm not saying, I don't like to say need to play, but you just hope that they are in shape right now to go out and make an impact, because it's just, even with Wiggins too. Like I like what Wiggins can bring sometimes, but there was just sometimes where King would lob it, and he's got to know and process it. Okay, if he underthrows it, I need to kind of stop running and kind of adjust to the ball rather than kind of stay back and see if the ball makes it to me. That's just a basic receiver thing that you should.
Yeah, it's a basic, and they're not doing that though. They're not creating that separation. They're not doing those kind of things that they need to be doing to become those big time wide receivers. I think there's a big issue, big discrepancy. There's a big what's the word I'm looking for? Gap. That's the word.
Gap.
There's a gap. There's a gap there, and I think that they need to clean that up. And if they do that, then any quarterback is going to be able to find his receivers with guys making bigger plays, creating more separation. The offensive line kind of showed that they're still not the best offensive line. But again, they weren't absolutely terrible. That's Clemson, man. I mean, it's hard to say, well, we suck. We don't suck. I think Miami is still a very good football team. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if we lose another game this year either. Obviously, we still have yet to see if we, how we react, right, coming off of this loss. It may be a little bit different this year with how the guys react, how the kids react to this loss, and kind of regroup and get things together and keep going. UNC might be the biggest challenge, but I'm predicting that we're going to see Clemson again in the ACC championship game. And listen, we could get run over again, but at least we're there again, and that's a big thing for me.
It does well for recruiting too. I mean, at least just like recruits want to play in big games, and they want to play against top talent. So at least just Miami might not win that game per se, but I think the most important thing now, if they're not at a high level, is just to win the winnable games. Just win games. Don't fall into Miami falls into these trap games all the time, especially in the past few years. So they just need to beat whoever. Just focus on whoever's in front of them and win. And also on top of that, it's in the past couple of years, like there's always that one mid-season loss that kind of flips the momentum. Then everyone just feels down and is like, okay, well, what are we playing for? What's the point? And hopefully that the coaching staff kind of reiterates that the season's not over, and also like leaders like Bubba Bolden and D.R. King remind them that we still have a lot to play for. There's still AC championship game, bowl game. I mean, they're playing Pitt this next Saturday, so let's just hope that they can really keep their minds straight and kind of focus on what's ahead rather than this past game, and just hopefully they get better.
I think it was a good measuring stick game to see, what does Miami need to do to be at Clemson's level? And obviously, it's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to happen, tomorrow. But, I think we were able to see, okay, this is what makes Clemson successful. These are the types of players they recruit. It's a passing game, football is nowadays, and this is what Clemson does that makes them balanced. They can run the football, they can throw, they have a good defense. I think was a good game in the sense that it offered Miami a measuring stick of where they need to be, what they did well, and what they still need to improve on.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you. Look, I was looking something up here, and I'm harping on these wide receivers because is there that guy in this commitment in this recruiting class now 2021? Romello Brinton. It's a kid out of Northwestern. And then you've got Jacoby George, is another kid from Plantation, Florida. Those are probably I don't know if there's any other wide receivers that are committed. Well, Brashard Smith, but he's another small kid. Okay,
Yeah.
he's a
little beefy for a small kid, but I mean he could but he's still kind of on like the more speedy.
Exactly,
side.
He's your slot guy, right? He's kind of like that in the slot. Maybe a kid like another kid that could possibly play wide receiver is Malik Curtis, who a lot of people peg him as a cornerback, but God, good Lord, that kid is fast. If you put that guy, that kid reminds me of an Amari Rodgers type. Okay, so that's really what we have right now. But you don't have a guy like a Ja'Cory Brooks out of IMG, right? That's the kind of guy that big 6'4", 6'5", big body, can go up and get the ball. Can create separation because he's so big. Like you need those guys, and Miami needs those guys to be able to compete at the level that Clemson is right now on the outside with their wide receivers. It's just right now. There's no comparison regarding talent there. And big thing that we keep talking about is depth, right? Depth showed again tonight. That Miami's not there yet with the depth. They can't keep up with all the guys that Clemson's bringing out there. You saw 3 quarterbacks today. You saw like 5 running backs with Malusi and Lynn J. Dixon and the other kid, that kid Dukes. So, yeah, they've got a lot of work to do. Was I surprised with the loss? No. But again, it's I wanted to see a little bit more out of the offense. I think the defense has a couple things to clean up, but all in all, at this point, I think we're just taking bets on, how long it's going to take for Amari Carter to get kicked out of a game for targeting at this point. It seems like every damn weekend, every damn game he's doing it. Every single game. And at some point, you've got to use your head. And I don't mean figuratively.
Not literally.
And I don't mean literally, but figuratively, right? Use your head, dude. Like, come on, man. At some point, you need to figure out that it's you. It's not the other person, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Especially if it's a QB. Like you got to know, like you can't really do anything.
It was tough. Jock, thanks for joining us, man. We're obviously talking about,
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys, man. I just got home from.
It's all good.
So, I know you guys are breaking down the game. You guys did an excellent job on the pregame show as well. I think that you got to kind of just take a step back and look at the game in its totality. Miami did not play that bad. I just think they missed too many opportunities. With the first play of the game, first drive, you got a 3-and-out possibly. You jump off sides, they go down and score a touchdown at 7-0. They getting off the field on 3rd down, and then you had a 15-yard flag. That got the targeting call with Carter that was offset by the holding call on Clemson. You getting off the field there. Then you had the 3 block kicks that Miami had. One was returned for a touchdown, and De'Aaron King kind of reverted back to his to the UAB game, underthrowing guys, because his interceptions was like tonight. D. Wiggins fell in the end zone, so the guy caught the interception. The interception to the Kendrick kid, number 1. If he just puts more air on the ball, that's a strike to Will Mallory. That's a touchdown. Yep. So, was Clemson going to win the game? Yes. But was it like Clemson just dominated Miami? No, because in that first quarter, that second possession with Clemson that they drove down the field and milked the clock so much, that was a sign of respect for Miami's offense because they knew, okay, we don't want to get in a shootout with these guys and let them get rhythm. So that's why they went downfield. You kind of seen it earlier today with Oklahoma and Texas, where Oklahoma had that one drive where they just ran the football, took time off the clock because they was scared of Texas's offensive scoring. Texas ultimately ended up tying up the game, but I'm just saying it was a sign of respect for Miami. The defense played well. I just think it was too many missed opportunities. Miami does have to clean up the dumb penalties. It's kind of getting to a point where it's hurting your team because you had three flags that ultimately led to Clemson scores. So it was 21 points right there. And you never know. The game flips on the side of his head. But to say Miami just is like outmatched, no, I just think they missed too many opportunities. And against a good team, you cannot do that. So I think
and we definitely spoke about that.
And
we definitely mentioned that, right? Miami had to play a perfect game almost to win the football game. But at the same time, they fought hard. And someone mentioned here on the mentions on the comments that this team has no heart. And
no.
I disagree.
I terrible comment because this team fought hard, man. It fought the whole entire time. It didn't quit. Made some mistakes, right? Listen, we have
but that's the difference between a 11-win team or a national championship and a not national championship. Because let's go back to, if you look at Clemson's game against Ohio State, what changed that whole game in the college football playoffs? A targeting call changed the whole game. Next play, Trevor Lawrence takes off for an 80-yard touchdown and flipped the game on top of his head. Similar to tonight, you jump off sides. You got a potential 3-and-out on the first possession, first drive of the game. And look, all sides, touchdown, Clemson. So it's not, like I said, was Miami outmatched? Yes. They were at a disadvantage at the running back position, quarterback position. The guys on the outside held up pretty fine. The corners, they played a pretty good ball game, except that one drive where Blaze gave up those catches back-to-back. But that was it. But ultimately, Miami played okay, better on defense. Like I said, they just missed too many opportunities. And I do want to reference this. At some point, like you were talking about with Carter, at some point you got to know not to do that. Like, that's Trevor Lawrence. First off, they're going to call that 9 out of. They're gonna call that every time because that's Trevor Lawrence. Number one, he's gonna get calls that other guys are not. Just because, this is a business at the end of the day. Those guys, the top college guys, are protected as well. So, it's just a bad play. I do think the defense missed Gervin Hall in that first half because they were exposing the true freshman kid when he got in the game, and that kind of like putting him at a disadvantage too. But they played well enough to win. They just have to eliminate the small mistakes. I do think only thing I don't like, Miami did come out flat. It took them kind of a while they never really caught that, that momentum. But think about this. Miami down 28-10 at the half. No, 21-10. My mistake. 21-10 at the half. You come out, defense gets a fumble on the possession, right? But we turn it right back over. So at that point in time, Miami go down and scores 21-17. It's a different ball game. So Miami just had too many missed opportunities. De'Aaron King didn't play as well as I thought he would. He missed a lot of throws, and it didn't help.
But John, I think the reason why he missed a lot of throws also is, honestly, I have to say that our wide receivers were not getting any separation.
Yes, and the receiver position.
And I think that's tough on De'Aaron King to have to try to make a play, right?
The receiver position has been terrible all season. I do think because Peyton didn't play tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
He played a little bit. He didn't play much.
Yeah. But Peyton, it's time to get some new guys in the rotation there. Like, we have to see Wiggins key drops. These guys are just not. I don't. It's no improvement. We're not seeing anything, and that hurts Miami because I think guys are ultimately now. If you look at Clemson game plan tonight, they took away who? number 9 and 85. They took those guys away. Okay, Wiggins make a play, Harley make a play, Pope make a play, and it was never that moment. Like if they make 2 or 3 plays, this game is different as well. Like I said,
Pope ghosted us, man. Pope ghosted us.
Yes. So I just think those guys need to go to the drawing board, do some soul searching, and get better. Because at this point right now, like I've stated a million times, those guys are not NFL receivers, no matter what they're being told. Like, not right now, because they're not doing anything that's making you be like, well, he's jumping off the string. Like, and players get caught up in potential. And that's why I think a lot of time coaches have to stay away from that word. Like, now, okay, you got a chance to be an all-time great. No. Let's work with what you got now, and then we get to that point of us mentioning you as an all-time great. So that potential word, and we talked about it all in the preseason, in the beginning of the season, doing our shows. We're like, Pope gonna be the guy, Wiggins gonna be the guy to break out. They got the talent, they got the thing. But now we're in game number 4. They had 2 weeks to prepare, and these guys still aren't making plays. So, like I said, I don't see the improvement. I just think they still on the high school level as far as route running, because they're running post routes and go routes, which, that's high school football. So, like, we got to get better route running from those guys, and you're right on point with that. Those guys are not getting separation or anything. So, I mean, but overall, like, Miami played well enough on defense to win, and overall, they just missed too many opportunities. So, when you play a number 1 team in the country and they're well coached, and see it as this, Dabo Swinney made a mistake that could have cost his team the game. Because at the half, he got the kick blocked, and it's 21-10 at the half.
Right.
So, Clemson wasn't perfect, but I just think we have to, you have to take a step back and look back. That's why I didn't come right on, like, right after the game, because I didn't want to overreact. But once you go ahead and, No,
what? Honestly, I think all of us came on and we were pretty good. We were pretty spot on in what we saw, and you reiterated a lot of the things that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And I did say this, Jock, and before you came on, I think that we lost. Jock is all over the place. What's wrong with you, Jock?
No, I'm here.
So, something that I did say is this is a good Miami Hurricanes football team, and I don't know,
Correct.
Again, we have yet to see how they're going to react to this game, but I just feel like it's a different football team. I don't know if Miami loses another game this year. Maybe UNC is probably going to be the toughest matchup. But just the way they're built, I can see them going through the rest of the season, winning all their games, and rematching Clemson in the
One thing next week. One thing next week is gonna be a good test to see, like, hey, are we still gonna be lollygagging around, or have you just put that loss behind you? Because right now, Miami showed some life in the second half. You went ahead and got momentum towards the second game of the next week's game. You got a touchdown in the second half. Let's go ahead, move forward with it. You're not worried about it. Let's move on. It happens. You got beat. Let's match up again. If we match up with Clemson again, and you get beat like that, you get beat like that a second time, then that team's just better than you. But at this time, I think Miami's gonna go back and look at the film and be like, well, damn, we missed a lot of opportunities.
And at the end of the day, that's what separates the great teams from the teams that are not there yet, right? And here's and I've been wanting to say this because you brought it up, Jock, Danny brought it up, even Paul mentioned it, is now teams are starting to get an idea as to what Miami is good at, okay, on offense. I'm talking about offense, right? And one thing that we're not good at is getting our ball, and again, it's not, I don't think it's on the quarterback. Again, it's on the wide receivers, right? So what are defenses going to do from now on? Well, hey, we're going to take away Ken Harris and Will Mallory and Brevin Jordan and have you try to beat us on the outside. And if Miami can't do that, then Miami will struggle. It is what it is, right? So, like you said, Jock, someone's going to have – I mean, we all said it, but someone's got to step up.
I would have liked to see them do a little bit more quarterback run game tonight. I would have liked to see that, because even on that 4th and 1, Miami got stopped. I think De'Aaron King pulled the ball there, he picks up the 1 or 2 yards right there. I think Miami was not prepared offensively for what they were seeing. I don't think the offensive line played that. They didn't play that bad tonight.
I don't think they were as bad as people think they were. I mean, they weren't the best. Don't get me wrong. But
they wasn't good. They wasn't. But I think Lashley could have adjusted to the game by having more quarterback run game involved and stuff like that. Because De'Aaron King legs was the only thing working effectively, so you gotta ride the hand. But at the end of the day, like, this is gonna be the story going forward. Can Miami receivers on the outside? We're not talking about Mallory and Jordan. We know what they're gonna do. Can they make the plays on the outside to loosen up the defense so Miami can go and run some of the things they want to do? And also, King, like I said, he only the 2 throws he missed. He underthrew some receivers. Like I said, like the Mallory players, that's a different game if he lobs that ball out there. So like I said, Miami's defense played well enough to win. I just think they were on the field too long, and then obviously Etienne, when he bust that 72-yard touchdown, was just like
that was tough. There was some times where our tackling was poor, but and our linebackers got exposed a little bit.
Jennings played a good game though.
Yeah, Jennings didn't play too bad, but McLeod got exposed a little bit on coverage. But I think we all knew that already, right? We all knew that he's not the best in coverage. Sam Brooks made a couple nice plays. He actually had a nice pass breakup.
The defensive line was not as disruptive as I thought they were going to be tonight. I thought because the Carmichael kid on the left side was a turnstile. Like I just think they were doing a good job of just scheming him not to get exposed. Because when
Jackson Carman, he was the only remaining guy from last year's team.
Yeah, but when they was lining him up 1-on-1 with Roche was really
he was eating him up.
But they was doing such a good job of getting the ball out so quick, and it was like, every time he started holding the ball and stuff, I was like, well, he in trouble now. So I think Miami just, they just gotta go back to the drawing board. They got a good Pitt team coming in, who lost today 31-30. I think they kicker missed the PAT to go in overtime. So they're going to come with 2 determined teams ready to shake off 2 bad losses. I do think Miami wins the game. I think they're going to be the favorites going forward in all their games, except against North Carolina. But I think Miami's okay where they're at. They have improved. Like I said, they played probably the best team, but they missed a lot of opportunities too. So it's kind of give and take right there.
Listen, Virginia Tech looks pretty good too. I mean, they put up 45 points on UNC.
And they also gave up 56.
And they lost. Right, they lost. They gave up 56.
I watched that game, and a lot of that was like, see, like the thing in college football is the defensive coordinators get so in relaxed mode, so they when they get up in big leagues, they get these guys easy completion, easy running lanes because they're giving it up. So then, by the time you look at it, you be like, well, damn, it was 56-20, 56-35. All right, you look back again. Oh, now it's 56-49. They're going to give it the game. Even looking at Alabama today, because while I was watching the game, I had all the games on the screen. Alabama gave up 45 points. I wanted, if I'm not mistaken, or 48. 48.
So, and they scored 63.
Yes. So it's it's a give and take. But I think those guys. Todd Grantham's terrible. Well, he's not that bad though.
Todd Grantham is bad. I don't know. Yeah.
Florida lost because of turnovers, though. It wasn't.
John.
It was that one bad turnover.
I don't want to switch conversations, but I gotta ask you now that I have you here as a former player. I don't know if you watched the Florida game, but at least you can probably watch highlights. After 3 weeks in, still miscommunication. Players looked absolutely lost. No pressure whatsoever on a defensive line that's supposed to be your most talented, and the secondary has dropped, which then now is telling me how much CJ Henderson took off from them from leaving. You don't have that shutdown corner anymore. What is going on with that defense in your eyes, man? Because I feel like we have the talent, and I understand that we're young. spots, but what the hell, dude?
Every team in Florida has the talent to be a top defense. So I think most of the time what happened is since Jimbo Fisher runs a complex offensive scheme because he's a pro style system in a college game. So I just think really y'all just wasn't getting no pressure today. And Kellen Mond was,
Oh my goodness. We have made Ole Miss quarterback, South Carolina, and now Kellen Mond look like they're back together and winning the Heisman. Sticking to defense, you have Bama giving up so many points to Ole Miss. You had Missouri scoring 40 plus on LSU.
They won.
What's going on in college football?
It's been a crazy weekend.
Well, you have to. A lot of that is because they're attacking the middle of the field. So a lot of is tight ends are getting open in the middle of the field because they're so worried about the outside. So now the middle of the field is open. So like with Florida, for example, you guys weren't getting no pressure with 4, so you're blitzing.
Every single third down, you're right. Every single third down conversion was always a slot pick or a drag route right over the middle.
Just like tonight in Miami, tight ends was killing the middle of the field. The defenses they're running in college now is mostly quarters coverage because they're scared of the big play that they just the middle of the field always gonna be open. Tight ends coming over on drag routes. Tight ends this. So that's why a lot of those guys are killing the game like that. So I just think that the defenses have to the coordinators have to get less scared of the points because you're going to give up points in college football. That's just common sense. You're going to give up points because you're playing with children. These are guys who they're on scholarship. They have busts, mental lapses. They're kids. It's not the NFL. So where they don't have, like the NFL, these guys are there all day. It's a scheme. We know what we're going to do. College is more changes week to week that what you're going to see on the defensive end of the football. So, like, that's why you guys see a lot of points given up in college because every week when you go there, you're preparing for this or that or that. The only reason the Big 12 has gotten better defensively because every offense in the Big 12 is the same. Mm-hmm. So now that those guys are bringing all those spread offenses to power conferences like the SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, like those. Big 10. That's why you see those guys scoring so many points. The Ohio States, the Bamas, all those guys. Clemson when they finally start opening up the offense.
Stop trying to hijack the show, Manny. Get out of here. Talk about you want to do the college football roundup tomorrow or what? Jock, you want to come on for the college football roundup tomorrow?
Yes, I'll be around for that.
Manny, you want to do it?
Yeah, that's fine. We could do that and talk about our losses
and drown in our sorrows.
By the way, somebody needs to tell FAU their Twitter handle to relax because they're going off tonight because apparently their team is undefeated now in the state of Florida.
Yeah, I think they're the only team that won this week.
I'm done. I'm done today.
I'm gonna be honest with you though. Out of everybody. It ranks this. Florida and Miami, same level. They're the same team. I feel like if they played today, it would be a close game. And I don't know who would win.
But one thing though, Jock, and Jazz knows this. Last week when we did the roundup, and Paul was there too, I told him we're not top 5. I don't care how great the offense is. I truly believe.
I actually said that I thought you might be though, and I thought you said you might be. I thought you said you might, and I said I thought you might be.
Yeah, but to me, I'm not going to believe that until I see a defensive performance, which by this token, it's not going to happen anytime soon because we can't do anything right on third down.
They're going to see the thing is that's going to help Todd Grantham is they're going to come out against LSU. They're going to play a hell of a defensive game against LSU.
And then you have Missouri, but then I look at Georgia today. Their first half,
but Georgia's not.
Dude, Jock, Georgia's first half's defense, they went into halftime, came back out, and holy God, they took over
Georgia's offense is not good, though. When they play Bama next week, they're going to be like, well, people are going to be like, well, damn, what happened? Because they're not going to score like that.
Because you know that Nick Saban's going to wrap it up their defense in this week.
So we'll see. We'll see that. I expect strong performances from Florida. Florida State played pretty well today against Notre Dame, but Florida State
once again kept getting gassed up with 1 minute drives from Notre Dame out of nowhere. Like
I expect Miami to come back next week very strong against Pitt. They're a formidable opponent, but like I said, I think Miami's gonna come out. You know, Derek King's gonna rebound, probably have about a 5 or 6 touchdown game or something like that, just to come back in. He got to put his name back in the Heisman because tonight, he kind of just tailed off.
He took himself out tonight. That's all right, man. It is what it is, guys. I'm gonna head on out. If you guys want to keep going, go ahead. But
that's it.
Wifey works early, but let's do it. Let's do it tomorrow. What time do you want to do it, Manny?
Is 2:30 all right with everyone?
2:30. You guys want to hop on?
Right before Dolphins kickoff.
Yeah, because they play at 4. Yeah,
at 4 o'clock. Correct.
Yeah. So we got that. We got the roundup. We got the 6-ring king. 6-ring king on Canes on Tuesday. We got a full week, man. Just prepare previews and all that. So.
By the way, do not sleep on NC State. Every single week I see them, they need to look more impressive.
That's a tough team.
We going week by week. We got Pittsburgh next, man.
We have to, man.
Hey, Jazz, though, we got the swamp supposed to be full. Your coach came out and said he want a full house in the swamp.
Hey, go for that.
Jazz,
gonna go to the swamp if they can't tailgate, Jock? Come on,
degenerates over there. Unbelievable.
You want a full house at the Hard Rock?
Hell no.
Without us, maybe. Without me.
Yeah.
Fine. I love me.
You can have your full house.
Yeah, I'm good.
Next weekend, I'm gonna be in a pool watching the damn game. I'm done. All right. I'm done. All right, fellas. I'm out of here.
All right, man.
See you guys.
Good stuff, guys.
We're still the best.